I'm on a mission to find the world's most positive and least positive national anthems. And I'm going to do this by pulling a data set of national anthems. I'm then going to use sentiment analysis algorithm in Python in order to score these national anthems. And finally, I'm going to display the results in Power BI. So let's go. The first thing I'm going to do is go to a website called data.world and grab my initial data set. So there's a data set in here which has most of the things I need, which is a country name and the URL of the country flag. And then I'm going to go to Wikipedia and pull the lyrics of all the national anthems in the data set. I've then compiled these into a data set, and that's sitting in GitHub. The link is down below if you want to download it yourself. Then I'm going to use something called the Vaders sentiment analysis algorithm, and what this will do is it'll just pull in each national anthem and then it'll give that a score based on its positive, negative, neutral and compound sentiment. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the algorithm to the data set. So I'm going to do this in Python. The code for this is down below, but I'll just talk you through what I'm doing here. I'm going to do a couple of imports here. We'll just import the sentiment analysis algorithm and kind of get everything we need to just fit this to the data set. And once we have this downloaded, fitting it to the data set is quite easy. So I'm pulling out the data set here from GitHub, and then I'm just cleaning up some of the new line space in there. And then for each line, I'm creating a for loop, and in the for loop I'm just going to go through each line. I'm going to pull the ID and the national anthem. The ID is really important because we are going to join this to the initial data set later on. It'll just run through each line, it tests the scores in each line, and then it'll pull out a data set which I can then join to my other data set. So I'm just going to run this sentiment analysis block, and it's run the 179 countries without incident. This is what the data set looks like. So I've got an ID and all my scores. I'm going to merge this back to the initial data set, and now I have something ready to go for Power BI. So I'm just going to press download, and this will download this data set, this score data set, and this is coming out as a CSV. Going to go over to Power BI now, and I'm going to bring this data set into Power BI. So this is the final dashboard in Power BI. I'll just go quickly through how I've built this. So I'm using a slicer visual here to slice through the countries, and then these countries come out in my main page. And what this is I've got a word cloud here. This is a custom visual. So you just go into Power BI, click these three dots and get more visuals, and you can pick out the word cloud here. This just pulls the words of the national anthem. I've got a Azure map and then cards for everything else. The slicer visual is quite new, so I'm just going to quickly show you how to create this. So you create a slicer visual here, and then you can put something into the field. I'm just going to put in the image URL to show you what the image URL looks like. So there's an image URL in here, and then I can go to images. I can go down to image itself, and I can add this image URL, and now the images will come out in my slicer. So it looks pretty cool, and you can use this to filter through your data. What I need to do to get it in a format that it is in the main visualization is I'm just going to pull country into the field in here, and then I need to filter this in the visual based on the sentiment, right? So I'm doing a top N in here, so I'm doing a top 5, and then I can pull in my positive sentiment in here. And in the visualization itself, I've just done this for positive, negative and neutral sentiment and set them to different pages. Last thing I want to do is just bring this layout to 5 rows and 1 column. And there you go. There's your slicer visual, and you can slice through to get your results. So back to the results. So Jamaica has a very positive national anthem. You see some very positive words in there like mighty and defender. Same at Nigeria. We've got honest, faithful, honor, strength. Mauritius has got some blessed, sweet motherland country, very positive stuff. Namibia has loyalty, bravery, beautiful. And then finally, the most positive, Tanzania, is all about bless, God, freedom, children, leaders. But then when we go into the most negative, you can see Greece is pretty grisly with some blood and bones and overshadowing. And that kind of continues through Hungary with sins and blood and danger and slavery. And the negative words continue in Ukraine. You've got grave, you've got death, a lot of negative words in there. And down into Mexico, again, you can see the negativity coming in here, more blood and war. So the most interesting country of our neutral set was Japan. It doesn't have a negative score, it doesn't have a positive score, it's just all neutral. So I hope you found that video useful. I just wanted to show how easy it was just to fit a machine learning algorithm in Python and show the results in Power BI for an interesting portfolio project.